Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is an exciting day. This is something I've been wanting to do for years now. I've had on my list, start your YouTube channel, get your stuff together, And the day's finally come. No time like the present. Going into the holiday season, going into a new year and deciding to really give myself a chance here and really try something new. So thanks for being here. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Khadija and I am a 30-something marketer and I live in Ontario, Canada. And I'm just really happy to have this chance to explore something new. So for a little bit of context as to how I kind of got to this point, or I guess to this point of wanting to start on YouTube, was that this year I decided to really try and put myself out there in terms of my business and building my personal brand. Not in the sense that I am trying to become an influencer. If that does happen, I'm going to ride the wave of that, but my goal isn't on here to get that sort of reputation or that sort of notoriety. So really why I'm on here is because I have spent the last 7 or so years on this career path of marketing. I started off very much focused on customer facing type roles. So I had a marketing and leasing rep role, which was kind of a customer service role that I had when I was in school. And then I also worked in other customer service roles in the hospitality industry. And then I moved into tech sales. And then from tech sales, I moved into marketing. And I've been in marketing ever since. And I just wanted to share my journey. I've shared it in various ways over the years. I do have a website where I blog on there every so often and share my thoughts on industry trends. I've shared some of my freelancing projects over the years. But since this past fall, once I've transitioned out of the 9-to-5 space, and I've just really been focusing on what I want to do next and also recovering from burnout, because that's something that has really, really come for me in the last 6 months to a year, partially because of work. And the job market in general has been absolutely wild the last year to 2 years, I would say, in particular, I noticed. But on top of that, I've just had a lot of personal moments and struggles that I've had to also navigate while trying to figure out if I'm in the right career path, if I'm in the right setting to explore that career, whatever that looks like, right? So basically in the fall, I was able to leave my 9-to-5 after hitting a certain amount in savings and with support from my partner. And he and I have been working together tirelessly to help me figure out what it is that I want to do next. He's been such a great support, and I couldn't have taken that step given just the state of things with the economy and stuff like that if I didn't have such a supportive partner in my corner. So I've basically been trying to explore different things. I got on TikTok earlier this year, but I've really been kind of going harder with it since I left my job, because I feel like I just had more in me to film and wanted to put my energy towards that, and it was just a new creative outlet for me, which very well may be gone soon, but we'll deal with that and when it comes, if it comes. But yeah, it's just been such an interesting time, such a rewarding time of really understanding myself, really understanding what I want to do, what I don't want to do going forward. And I've just been exploring and kind of having my hands in a bunch of different areas besides just focusing on executing on those day-to-day tasks in a 9-to-5. And it's been terrifying because that has been my life for so long, but it's been nice to have the space to just take a step back and reevaluate and regroup. So I'm really, really thankful for that. But yeah, I've just been working freelance. This year, I guess in November, would have been my 1 year of officially being registered as a sole proprietor and doing freelancing. But I was doing that or having that in place alongside my 9-to-5. But when I was in my last 9-to-5, I wasn't doing any client work. So I would say that really started up end of August, early September, which was aligned with when I left my job. That's been an interesting journey just to be focused on that and definitely have had a couple of setbacks in the terms of the fact that those clients will not be moving forward with me in the new year. There's a couple of different reasons, different clients, and there's different reasons for each. But I am actively working to secure new clients before the new year. So I have quite a few meetings actually this week, and hopefully something good comes of it. If not, like I still have some learnings from that and learn what I can improve better, maybe different questions I want to ask, really understand the type of work I want to be doing. But a lot of my focus has been on content marketing and specifically more long form content. But I feel like every time I've been in a role like that, whether in a 9 to 5 or even now with freelance, social media has definitely fallen into that. And there is still copywriting involved in that and content creation. It's just a very different approach versus doing long form content like blogs, case studies, that kind of thing. And the reason that I got into marketing in the first place was when I was on the sales team. I noticed that our marketing team was kind of stretched thin at the same company I was at, and they really weren't taking care to post on the blog regularly. So I basically volunteered to be kind of a voice from the sales team, given that I'd studied English at both the undergrad and master's level. And then I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm happy to kind of help bridge that gap. I'm already within the organization. Being that I'm on the sales team, I already kind of have an understanding of our product offering and how we're talking about that with prospects. So it was a very direct translation. And they also saw that because instead of hiring a co-op student, they basically asked my manager on the sales team if they'd be willing to essentially loan me to their team for that 4 months stint that they would have hired a student outside of the organization. So I got to sales. I was working as a BDR, so an outbound sales rep, making cold calls, emails, social selling, all of that. And then I went to the sales team, or from the sales team, to the marketing team. And I was working very closely with mostly the content marketing and product marketing branches of the team. But I also was working with programs and events and helping out with that as well. So it was very much a generalist type of role. I really got thrown into it, but I found that I really enjoyed content marketing because I just love being able to create stories, answer questions for prospects and customers and researchers of our product, and being able to write and just kind of be in my own zone and really focus in on a project for some time while also being able to collaborate with other team members. So having that opportunity made me realize that I didn't want to be in sales long term. There's definitely days where I still miss sales, and I think I learned so much in the time that I spent in sales and customer service roles. Like I would never trade that time and those learnings for anything. It's made me a better marketer, and I feel like it lends so well if you're trying to transition from that type of space in sales or customer service. I think it lends so well to marketing, specifically content marketing and product marketing. So if you're watching this and that's something that you've maybe been thinking about, definitely subscribe here because I'll be talking about my career journey and things that I learned and what I've taken from that era and what I've kind of implemented even now working in marketing. So I definitely think that really shaped how I approach marketing, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Honestly, it was definitely hard at times, definitely tested my resolve, had to do a lot of activities, a lot of outreach, faced a lot of rejection, and sometimes just getting ignored, but that didn't discourage me or make me not want to keep going and pursuing what it is that I wanted to do. And it really helped me to understand like how all these different parts of a business work together as well. So I think for that alone, it was worth the time that I spent. So when I went into marketing, like I said, I was doing a generalist position. I decided to pursue content. I didn't want to go back to the sales team. It's not that I didn't enjoy my time there, but I was really feeling like, wow, you're just getting started in this. Maybe see if you can branch out. They didn't have full-time headcount on that marketing team, so that was why I started to look for employment elsewhere. And basically after that little 4-month stint ended, I went and worked in another industry entirely. So I went from marketing tech, MarTech, to construction tech as a content marketing specialist for their new product that was coming out. And I learned so much in that time. It was also the first job I got laid off from. I have a few layoff stories, but that was the first one. So I wasn't even there for that long, maybe 6 months. But I made some friends there. first of all, like my friends from that specific job, incredible people. I still am friends with those folks today, some closer than others. Like one I would consider to be one of my best friends. I know he's going to watch this because he supports all of my stuff. And then there's a few other folks that, I've really kept in touch with over the years. And, we've gone through different milestones together. We're all similar age group, that kind of thing. And it is amazing that I wasn't there for that long, but like 5 years later, almost 6 years later, we can still find things in common and still, enjoy talking to each other and like seeing each other every so often. So I'm really grateful for that grueling short period of time, but so much happened, and I learned so much about an industry that I didn't consider to be technologically sound or technologically advanced outside of the actual construction zone, right? Like I didn't think about how folks that work at those sites were going to be using technology to make their jobs and lives easier, and just being able to really learn that up front and so quickly was a really awesome experience. And I've pivoted into so many different industries since because of the fact that I know how to pivot and I know how to talk to folks and really kind of get myself up to speed very quickly. So one thing I would advise if you're transitioning industries but you're in a similar role, talk to the sales team. They have to talk to people all the time and help them to understand the product offering, how this is going to solve problems, all of that. So if you're there early, be ready to ask those questions and have those conversations. It's such a rewarding thing to do. You'll have that opportunity to build rapport with your new colleagues, and you'll get a crash course in everything you would need to know to just get on the ground and hit the ground running when it comes to marketing. That's always the first thing I do, is try to build rapport with sales, because they're yappers for a living, honestly. And also it's really important that marketing and sales work well together, gel well together. I've seen what happens when that doesn't happen, and it's not a fun time for either side, I don't think. So that would be something I advise there. But yeah, I spent all that time in construction tech. I went to internal comms tech. That was the first time moving to Toronto before the Panini hit, and that was my last fully in-person job. I've been basically remote ever since. I had a couple of jobs that, it wasn't like hybrid schedule or anything, but, you go to the office every quarter, or once a month I would go into like the satellite office that we had, and just to connect with people and just leave the house, honestly. Like it's important if you have that option. I definitely prefer remote work and whatnot, but I really think that I've seen my social skills kind of suffer a little bit with that time, and then also just not being in the office. Not that I think that a job like mine, like in marketing or anything like that, needs to be in person, especially not every day, because there's times when you're just writing and researching and you need that quiet, uninterrupted time. And in office, especially with a lot of open concept offices that I've worked in, it's just not conducive to that. So that's just something I've thought about. But I really do miss some aspects of the office, and it was nice to be able to connect with my colleagues, especially when I was new to this job that I just left too. Just being able to, shake some hands and just, have lunch with people and find out what different departments were doing, because we were all in the same space for one day a month. I mean, that's not a huge sacrifice. At least it wasn't for me. It was fairly easy for me to get there, that kind of thing, but I understand everyone's circumstances are different, so I can only speak from my experience. But yeah, now I've left that space and I'm just doing my thing. So one thing I'm doing is I'm still using my sales skills and doing outreach to what I would consider warm leads, people I've worked with previously that I think are doing interesting things, and just like trying to have conversations with them and see what sort of projects we might be able to work on together, or if they have someone in their network that might need someone with my skill set to help them out. So that's been a really rewarding experience. I've got some great conversations lined up for this week, like I said, and also just the opportunity to reconnect with some folks I haven't spoken with in a while. It's been really, really awesome. And then, yeah, after that, I'm also working on kind of getting into this new medium. And big thing is that I'm writing my own book. So on interview skills, interview tips that I've grabbed over the last 7 years, I've taken a lot of interviews, even when I wasn't actively looking. If an interesting opportunity came across my desk, like I'm still having that conversation to keep my skills up, right? So I want to share that with people that might be trying to go from sales to marketing, but also keeping it more high level for folks that are just trying to really, branch out, and maybe they're trying to transition to a different area. Maybe they just want to get better at interviewing. They want to know what kind of questions are typically asked, because I definitely collect a lot of trends through this period of my life, and just like going through my 20s and like that early to mid stage part of my career. So I just want to share that, and like how I've also used my projects outside of work to, share that I have related experience and then a willingness to learn, and how people have received that. So I'm hoping to get this book out by April of 2025, so start of Q2, but we'll see how it all goes. If I don't get picked up by a publisher, I'm not really actively searching for that, but if I don't get picked up by a publisher, I am intending to self-publish, so it's still on me. But yeah, as I was saying, it's still on me to kind of hit that deadline, but it's something that I am really passionate about. It's something I've internalized and put a lot of thought into how I want to help people with this information. So stay tuned as I kind of document this journey on here as well. I think this is the right place for it. And let me know if there's anything that you're hoping to learn from something like that. If you're in the midst of a career transition, any sort of things that I could use maybe to kind of ensure that I address it either in a video, or as I'm still in the early stages of writing, I could incorporate into my book. But yeah, I want to thank you all for being here. This is video 1 of hopefully many. And if you want to stay tuned for what we got going on, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you folks next week with my next video. Bye.